A midwife is a primary care provider.
Kind of like the real oldest profession of the world.
Similarly to how you would think of like a doctor or a nurse practitioner who is responsible for all different aspects of your care.
For pregnant people throughout their pregnancies,
Whether that's like assessing you, prescribing medications and ordering tests and evaluating them, or working towards you with your health goals.
so we do hospital, home, and birth center birth.
Here in Canada, we are called registered midwives or Indigenous midwives.
And then we also care for folks up to 6 weeks postpartum.
Yeah, so that's what midwives are.
The Mount Royal Midwifery Program is really, really interesting because it has such a big emphasis on clinical experience.
I mean, our program looks like many different things.
In your first year, you do a lot of classes that are kind of like that traditional like lecture and lab style to really get those foundations.
MRU has a lot of ways that they really try to push you into scenario-based learning. So for example, in our labs, sometimes we will run a scenario. Let's say we're learning about breech delivery, where breech is if a baby is coming bum first instead of head first. Then we will read about that. We'll go into the lab and they'll have models there where we're actually running a scenario of how to catch a breech baby. And then after that, for the last part of the program, you're doing both course-based and practicum-based things.
Halfway through your second year, you end up preceptoring with a midwife for several months at a time.
Students usually come in very excited about the placement opportunity. They're very looking forward to the first placement. So they probably have a lot of expectations or dreams about how it's going to be. So my role is to kind of pull them back to reality. This is what it is going to happen.
Our preceptors will take us under their wing and we'll go to many clinics around Alberta, sometimes even outside of Alberta, to practice and learn from midwives that are in the community doing the work, which is amazing.
There are several mental, financial expectations that they have to be realistic about.
So in this institution, we're the only program that is currently producing primary care providers. So that's the same criteria as a physician or a nurse practitioner. We prescribe medications, we do procedures, we have hospital admitting and discharge privileges. And so sometimes the challenge at Mount Royal is securing the right person at the right time for the program.
Some students have a longer placement. For example, we have one of the third year placement that will last for 1 year. So they'll be away from home for entire year.
You know, you have maximum of 4 clients if you're a solo midwife, or a team, even teams of 2 or 3 people. They don't tend to take a lot of clients. So you have a smaller volume, but you're there constantly for them, 24/7. You can be called at any moment. So you can imagine that bleeds into everything.
What we try to do to support the students through rotations is have them write about it in their reflections.
And you'll have several placements like that from halfway through the second year all the way to the conclusion of the program. And it's kind of facilitated with having like virtual classes online during that time with your professors to make sure you're still meeting all those learning goals while still getting that really important hands-on experience, more than you probably get in any other program.
Our uniqueness is that we're pretty small.
Quite tight-knit.
And I know you hear a lot of people say, oh, I love, these like hands-on colleges. The class sizes are small. I know my professor, but this is like a whole new level.
You get to know people in your cohort very well.
I know every single one of my classmates and my professors by name. I know their whole story and what's important to them, and they know me.
And I find that to be one of the most wonderful and supportive aspects of the MRU community.
So you really get immersed in that whole birth and working with people experience.
It's a rigorous program, and you're literally getting people sometimes directly just from high school, and at the end of it, they have to deliver babies outside of the hospital, inside the hospital, resuscitate babies everywhere. You can imagine that level of responsibility really is something to think about and something to be ready for.
It's really beautiful, the relationships you make and how much you support each other. And I think that without that cohort community, the success rates in this program would be a lot lower just because we help each other so much.
We constantly examine our curriculum, examine our retention and recruitment strategies to make sure we're getting the right person for the right time, because it is an all-encompassing model.
It's such a community that you have here in this program in a way that, I think is easy to advertise, but is really hard to actually have in a university setting.
My philosophy is really we need a community of teachers and learners and practitioners to grow this profession.
Especially because we're such a small but mighty profession, being able to have such a strong community so early on has been like life-changing for me.
Having that is also really lovely because you know that you're part of a greater community that is there for you and really cares for you.
Think about where you started at the beginning, learning the difference between like an artery and a vein. And at the end, where you get to like shape the way that somebody like meets their baby, or gets to breastfeed, or nurture their child, or feel like they can do it, even though parenting is one of the hardest things you possibly could ever do, and there is no guidebook for it. But when you set them up for success and they can, and you realize that you came all that way to be able to make that difference in people's lives, it's all worth it.
Mount Royal Midwifery is evolving and growing, and it's a good place. The measure is that we support people through the process and we work with each other on a shared goal.